We were having a heck of a conversation before the show even started, but we can't tell you what we said. But welcome to Golden Black Live. John Speaker, John Kitchel, that would be his brother, Kelly Kitchel, and we do have your name spelled right. This morning we didn't.
You have two L's?
Yes, which we apologize for that. And John Speaker with the Jon. I get that right about half the time. Now these guys are local legends in a number of reasons, and this is not a show about West Lafayette football, but two of us are West Lafayette grads, and myself and John, and then of course Kelly Kitchel, a line coach for the West Lafayette Red Devils. John Speaker, also an offensive. You've got receivers, and who's calling the plays?
Shane's the offensive coordinator. We script some of our stuff, and I call the script stuff. But he.
So you call the ones that work.
I wish I could take the credit for that. No, Shane's in charge.
If you didn't get a chance to see after Purdue beat Indiana in football last weekend, if you didn't get a chance to go to Lucas Oil, you might have been able to watch the game in the state of Indiana, or I guess they had it on the internet as well. But West Lafayette and Evansville Memorial, one of the great games, not just high school football games I've ever seen. The Red Devils win the state championship by 1 point. You had them all the way, though, right?
I don't know if we had them all the way. We were down at half, but it was a tremendous football game. We started out right away, hit them twice deep, and we're up 14-0, and we're on the sideline just trying to calm our guys down and say, hey, it's not going to be like it's all game. It's going to be a fight, and it was all the way to the end. I mean, it was right to the very last second. It was a fight all the way, and our kids fought, and we're super proud of them. I mean, we just can't get over how well our kids prepared and fought and performed this year, each week in and week out. And finally, this was the first game, I think, all season that we actually had a dry field to play on.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it rained every Friday night, and you could see what kind of things the offense could do once we had nice conditions, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
John, how'd you keep them? I mean, I know all of this, you guys spend time making sure kids are poised, but they had to be that way down the stretch. I mean, to get that last drive and do everything that you did. This kid, and you had a quarterback. Tell a little bit about that story about his shoulder for those that wouldn't know that.
Well, the first thing I would say is that's kind of a culture we have at West Lafayette. I think our coaches act in that way. Our kids see that. We stay calm. We've played in enough big games over the years where we've never been out of it. And we've won a couple games we probably shouldn't have. And so that demeanor, I had a lot of comments after the game from people about the calmness of our sideline and our coaches. And the only way I can answer is that that's what we do. That's who we are. And Kyle Adams, he's just a junior. Threw for 3,400 or 3,945 yards this year, just shy of 4,000. There's been a couple kids in Indiana do that, but in the second quarter, maybe early second quarter, he took a pretty nasty blindside hit, and he came over on the sideline and he said, trainers, doctors looked at him, and I said, hey, how you feel? He says, well, I probably shouldn't say, you might take me out.
Yeah.
And we weren't really sure where he was at, and we let him feel it out a little bit. We ran the ball a little bit, and then he threw maybe a 10-yard hitch route to one of our wide receivers that zipped through his hands, and we knew that he had the velocity and he was fine. So the kid's a warrior. He's just a warrior.
And playing with a numb right arm, that's impressive.
The whole game.
And I know I asked both of you guys, and we're not Kyle has been looked at by some schools. After that type of game, one would think some other opportunities may come, but he's really, in his first year as a full-time starter as well, but he's really done well.
Super smart kid.
Yeah, and he may not be done growing. He may both his parents are tall, and he may have a few more inches, and I think he'll be a prospect for sure. And what I love about Kyle Adams is he wins everything we do. If it's a competition, it doesn't matter what it is. He's in there to win. I've got twins that are in 7th grade, and they say, who do you guys want to be like? And they say Kyle Adams, because he just competes to win every single time, and that's what you love about kids like that. They want to compete.
Yeah, you have that opportunity to do that, and have a great chance to get that done in such a significant manner. George, welcome to the show. You can have a seat, and that's the beauty of the internet. We can actually pose. George Karloftis, our second segment guest, will be just came into the studio as well. You look back at great games that you guys have both played at different levels, but You ever seen anything quite like that, though, in terms of drama? I mean, everything on the line, every play mattered. Just the way that came down. If you had any other games as you can remember, I mean,
Yeah, we've been through a lot. And like I said, John said, that's why I think our kids are poised and our coaches are poised, because we've been through a lot of those. It doesn't matter if it's been, different tournaments or during the regular season. We go through a lot of those situations in game. We played a defense on the offensive side. We played against a defense that was incredible all year in practice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, probably the best defense that we were going to see the entire year is who we practice against every day. So our kids, they had no fear. It was they can do what they do, and they play with confidence, because that's what we try to instill, is that we're always in it, we're always there, there's always a chance, and there's a way to get things done if you want it bad enough.
And John, I wanted to ask you too about another Kyle, and Kyle Hazel, and Purdue fans know obviously of his dad, and also know of Kyle because he was around the program a lot when Darrell Hazel was the head coach. But a very unique situation you've been very close to, and a receiver that a huge contributor on your football team. But tell me a little bit about that story, because he won a very, very special award after the game on Saturday as well.
He did.
Friday. No, Saturday.
Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, Kyle came to us at 5'4", 103-pound
Yeah.
wide receiver, vivacious personality, just a great kid who, like Kelly's talking about, Kyle Adams, just a competitor. They want to win everything, and he really ended up having a phenomenal career at West Lafayette, and they made the decision to stay here. He had made some good friends to finish out his career, and I actually told him after the game, in the celebration mode, I said, "This is why you stayed here." And he said, "Yes, it was." But he did. He won the Blake Caress Mental Attitude Award for his service in the community, for football, for a number of different reasons. And at Westside, we've played in 5 state championships, and we've won all 5 of those, and that's pretty exciting for us alums anyhow.
Yeah.
But just a super deserving kid who, I'm not sure football was on his radar 6 months ago, but football is on his radar now, and he's also an outstanding track athlete.
Yeah, he's been really good.
But he's the West Side kid. He just fits the mold.
Yeah, we do have some questions. I don't think they're actually personal friends of yours, but we do have questions coming in about Kitch from a football player perspective. How good is, and I'll ask this as John too, but Coach Jeff Brom and staff, and how much would you have liked to have played for him?
Well, for Coach Brom?
Coach Brom.
Oh, I'd love to play for him.
Not for Coach Speaker.
No,
I know
I'd
you
love to
go-
play for Coach Speaker as well.
Yeah.
I was a tight end in high school. He may
We'll
put
let
me a wide
George answer
receiver.
that.
Yeah, there you go. George can answer.
No, it was. I would love to. I was fortunate enough to play for Joe Tiller, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, you can't get much better. But Jeff Brom's right there in that mold, and our offenses are different but similar. Joe came in and took the Big Ten by storm with what he did with run the spread. I think Jeff is smarter than most other coaches that we're going to see on the other sidelines. And, his offense is innovative. He gets guys open. As you can see, what's incredible is everybody was keen on Rondale Moore this year, and he was open all the time. And half of it was his great route running, and a lot of it was design. He wanted to play design and things that they're doing. It's amazing what a shift or a short motion or something will do to get guys open that really nobody notices. But would love to play for him. What he instills in the kids and what he expects out of them, and he lets them go out there and have some personality and lets them have fun, and that's exactly what I was fortunate enough to go through. I had a great experience, and now these guys are going through a similar type and having great experiences and winning a bunch of games and hopefully going to the Rose Bowl and doing a lot of fun stuff. And it's that's the plan. That's his expectations.
Now you guys, John, have had an innovative offense with Coach Shane Fry as well in terms of tempo, trying to be ahead of the curve in terms of what other teams can prepare. But when you watch Jeff Brom's offense, what do you think? I mean, are there comparisons to what they do and what you guys try to do, and what do you learn from watching?
I think so. I'm not sure the tempo is the same.
Yeah.
But what I love about Coach Brom and his staff is the accountability. And it's
Yeah.
not just with the players and the support staff, it's with the fellow coaches. They hold each other accountable. I feel like that's something we try and do at the high school level. It's a little different, but and there are some similarities. I mean, we do little nuances, little different things to get a guy open because you catch something on film or what have you. But Kelly's right. I mean, Rondale Moore, the kind of year he had, and he was still able on multiple times to make huge plays, double coverage, triple coverage. That's coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, that's coaching.
Yeah, and if you have the ability to be innovative and have the personnel, that doesn't hurt from that standpoint. I mean, you look at those. You look what the speed that they play at, and I think your point about the fact that he still gets open. I mean, he's a complete focal point of that. In terms of that. Now we're gonna not embarrass you, but we'll get you to talk about our next guest, George Karloftis, in terms of that defense. Now you guys are both offensive coaches, but and I know your defense. We'll have to gig George a little bit about giving up 40 points last week, but he'll get ready for that. But no, I mean in terms of your defense has been pretty stout all year and has really been terrific. Talk about not only George's role, but how you guys have tried to, your big scoring outfit, but your defense has been a big part of things as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to, we as an offensive line this year, we had 3 new starters and 2 returning guys and 1 senior. And so we had 2 new tackles that one was a freshman. They were trying to block George every day in practice. And I remember coming after one of them. I think he got in his head so bad he couldn't hardly move his arms. Our tackle was just like, I don't know what to do, know. And George, and that was great because he brought it every day in practice. He didn't stop. He knew when to go, when not to. Make sure you lay off the quarterback and do some things in practice. But he brought it, and it wasn't just George. It was all of our defense. They brought it every single day, and we competed. We start off a lot of practices just with a competition. It was ones-on-ones, and it was go time. And we were trying to score, and they were trying to stop us. They throw in different coverages. We'd throw stuff at them, and it was just great to have that competition. And like I said, and what I'm so proud of George about is his leadership this year. He came in as an 8th grader not knowing anything about football. Now I remember I'll tell this story,
Ask him
George.
his first play. Are you going to tell him?
Yes, I'll tell.
Tell
This is my favorite story. So George, they put him in. He's in 8th grade. He comes off the field. He played nose. He comes off the field. He got in the backfield or whatever.
This is an
eighth grade game.
Okay.
And we're the coaches were all there watching. We go to a lot of junior high games. And he came off the field and he goes, Coach Kitchel, he said, I get past the center, which is easy. He said, then I get to the quarterback. He doesn't have the ball. He goes, I don't know what to do. I said, George, go find. He goes, who do I tackle? I said, George, go find the ball. He goes, okay. So it was just, I mean, the rawness of, you could see the athleticism and the size, but just to come along and from where he is now and how he's picked up on the sport in just 4 short years and understands the game and his leadership and we coming into the year, we were like, this is a guy that's, going to be he's a 5-star, 4-star, whatever it is. And, how's he going to meld with everybody in the thing? And he was a tremendous leader for us. There was no distractions. It was not about him. It was about the team. And that's what I'm most proud of him about is, you question that sometimes when you have a special athlete like that, if the focal point is going to be away from the team and on that, and he didn't let it happen. And that's what I thought was great.
I wanted to ask you who dialed up the play. I don't know why I thought it was a touchdown, but the 23-yard pass to George from Sage Hood on that was a 4th down situation.
It was 4th and 3.
And I know George has had other receptions this year. Had you shown that play?
No.
All right, so take me through that. That was a huge play in the 4th quarter. And I don't remember the exact. Was it your last touchdown? No, it was the second.
No, it was the second to last touchdown. Sage had just we had
Sage Hood, who's in the third quarter.
We had third. Yeah, it was third quarter. We had 3rd and 15. I think Sage picked up 11, 12 yards on a dump pass that Kyle made, and we actually put that play in a week prior to use it at Fort Wayne Lures, and it was a wee bit muddy and wet.
Yes, it was.
We talked to George and said, "What do you think?" And he's like, it was. The conditions were just a little bit different, but
there was more mud than hands on his hands.
We had shown that formation for 2 years, basically, and we had put that play in knowing that if we run that formation, and I know that Greg Regstraw talked about it on the broadcast, which I'm starting to watch now, which is awesome.
Oh, it's fun to do that.
He had mentioned that West Lafayette has a jumbo package. Yeah. Well, as soon as Big George comes right out of the field, everyone says, okay, jumbo package. Well, we've only shown one play, essentially, for 2 years out of that formation. So we felt really good about it working. Coach Fry dialed that play up at the perfect time. And George should have scored. It was a ball up to the sun and back, but he made a phenomenal effort against probably their best player on the other side who made a great play. Came down with the ball, and he was just a couple yards short, but that was a huge momentum-changing play in the game. So.
Yeah. I know we've talked, because George, we've talked about George behind his back, so to speak, about all of his talent, and he'd be a salty tight end.
He'd be a great tight end.
He's told us that multiple times. I have to share one more thing
Yeah, please,
about
by all
that
means.
pass, and George remembers this. On Sunday night, prior to the state championship, George, you know what story I'm going to tell here? George sent Coach Fry and I just a picture text. It was a video, and it was of him holding his phone up to the computer, and it was from 2009. We won a state championship. We ran the jump pass.
I don't remember that. Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
okay.
It was overthrown. It would have been a touchdown by a different situation,
Yeah.
a little bit farther away, and all he did is he texted that play,
Oh,
the
okay.
video of that play to Coach Fry and I wrote back, well, it's still in the playbook, and
Yeah.
Coach Fry wrote back, I like it, and George said, well, all I'm saying is it's just a good play for Yanni and I. If there's an opportunity, it's a good play. And I thought that was pretty cool. We ended up running it, and it was a huge play in the game.
Yeah, talk about, Yanni, George's younger brother, obviously very talented, just finished his sophomore year, and can do some things on the offensive end, but also a terrific linebacker and defensively.
Two totally different kids.
Yeah.
Two different personalities.
Yeah.
George is a happy kid. Always got a smile. Always asks the right questions. Yanni just wants to go to war at all times. Not that George doesn't, but
he's
Yanni's
a tone setter.
Yeah, he is a tone setter. He's a phenomenal player, and who knows where he's going to end up and what's going to happen with him. But yeah, he's just a sophomore.
Yeah, and number 14, if you get a chance to watch the game as well, George, number 88. Now, it is still, you're watching, so it's ihsaa.org, TV.org. It's got all the archive of that. That will be, that is well worth watching, because it is about as entertaining of a high school football game or football game you'll ever be able to watch. All right, I want to ask you both one question about the Boilermakers, obviously heading into just your impressions of what did Purdue, in your view, improve this year? Both had 6-6 records under 2 years under Jeff Brom, but tell me why you think this program made a step ahead.
Well, I think if you look at the strength of this schedule was incredible. I mean, our non-conference and everything. So the wins we got. I think the frustrating part for the fans was, there was a few games we won when we probably weren't supposed to, and there were some games that we didn't win that we were supposed to. We were ahead. It was against Wisconsin, 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, couldn't close it out. Minnesota, up there, it was just we just didn't play very well in that day. So those are two games you look at and you're like, man, if we could have just closed those out, you're 8-4 instead of 6-6. But I think if you talk to anybody before the season with the schedule that we had and the returners we had, they said 6-6 going to a bowl game. I think people would feel pretty good about that, but after beating, and you have a signature win with Ohio State, we just played so well in so many games. So I think they took a step forward for sure. I think that the momentum is there now with Jeff Brom staying. The momentum's even bigger. I thought it was kind of a weird atmosphere when some tweets came out and some irresponsible things were happening online, and then all of a sudden, the questions all around the program. It just felt odd sometimes. At Ross Aiden on the senior day, I just felt I had a weird feeling there. And then, now I just feel like it's like if you go to the movie Hoosiers, it's almost like Jimmy Railsbury or Jimmy Chitwood's back. They can't stop us now. We got Coach Brom now on board. It's go time, and I think this team with the recruiting class he got coming in and everything moving forward, I think championships are on the horizon. I'm just really excited about it.
Last word, John. Anything else from you that you want to add? That now that Kelly perfectly put it together.
Kelly, he understands the situation. I think what I'll remember about this Purdue season is starting 0-3.
Yeah.
And I actually did think about this the other day, to start 0-3 and then to finish 6-3 with that schedule. Mm-hmm. I'm adding that up, right?
Yeah, right? That's right. 6-7. It would put you at 6-6.
I just thought that was impressive. I sit back. I'm a season ticket holder. I go to all the games. I watch all the games. Huge Purdue fan. It just makes you proud. There's something on the horizon. This recruiting class that's coming in has got everybody excited. And I worried that if Coach Brom had decided to leave, which I wouldn't blame him going home, the momentum would be lost. But as Kelly just said, the momentum is just starting to pick up. So excited about the future here.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, well, guys, thanks so much for stopping by and for the show. And we're going to take a 2-minute break and bring in George Karloftis and Brian Newbert, and we will talk a little football. George Karloftis, but also recruiting class. Lots of interesting things I'm sure will be on the horizon for the next 20 minutes. And the last segment will be Brian and Matt, and we'll break down all that's gone on in this last week at Purdue Sports. So stay tuned. We'll see you in a couple minutes on Gold and Black Live.